The year is 9 AD. The place, the untamed depths of Germania, a land shrouded in mystery and danger. Roman legions, those conquerors of the known world, marched beneath the gloomy canopy, their footsteps echoing through the ancient woods. They carried with them their eagle standards, symbols of unmatched might and the pride of Rome. Their destination, the Rhine, the frontier of an empire hungry for more, ever eager to expand its borders. At their head rode Publius Quinctilius Varus, a seasoned general confident in Roman invincibility, his eyes scanning the horizon. He had pacified regions before, bringing rebellious territories under Roman control. Germania would be no different, or so he believed, or so he thought. The forest whispered around them, a symphony of rustling leaves and unseen creatures, creating an eerie atmosphere. The legions marched in disciplined ranks, the rhythmic clang of their armor a stark counterpoint to the wildness around them, a testament to their training and discipline. They were the bringers of civilization, here to impose order on the barbarian wilds, to spread the influence of Rome. But the forest held secrets, and danger lurked in its shadows, unseen and unpredictable. The legions marched on, unaware of the fate that awaited them, oblivious to the perils that lay ahead. The dense foliage seemed to close in around them, as if the forest itself was conspiring against the invaders. Each step forward brought them deeper into the unknown, further from the safety of their empire. The air grew thick with tension, the soldiers' breaths heavy with anticipation and unease. They were on a path that would lead them into history, but not in the way they had envisioned. Among the Roman auxiliaries, a young nobleman named Arminius rode with a calm exterior, his eyes scanning the horizon with a practiced ease. He was a figure of authority and respect among his peers, a testament to his dual heritage. Born a prince of the Cherusci tribe, he had been taken as a hostage to Rome in his youth. This was a common practice by the Romans, a way to ensure the loyalty of the tribal leaders by holding their heirs. There, he received a Roman education, learned their military tactics, and even earned Roman citizenship. He was trained in the art of war, schooled in Roman philosophy, and immersed in their culture, becoming a bridge between two worlds. He was a living testament to the Roman belief in their civilizing mission, a barbarian molded into a tool of the empire. The Romans prided themselves on their ability to transform and assimilate those they conquered. But beneath the veneer of Romanization, Arminius harbored a secret. His heart still beat with the fierce independence of his people, and he never forgot his roots. He had witnessed firsthand the Roman thirst for conquest, their ruthlessness in crushing those who resisted. The brutality of the Roman legions left a lasting impression on him, fueling a growing resentment. He had seen the impact of Roman rule on his people, the erosion of their traditions and their freedom. The once proud and free tribes were now subjugated, their way of life slowly being erased. A plan began to form in his mind, a daring gamble to use his intimate knowledge of Roman tactics against them. He knew the strengths and weaknesses of the Roman military, and he intended to exploit them. He would play the role of the loyal auxiliary, all the while plotting their downfall. Arminius was determined to free his people, to restore their honor and independence, even if it meant betraying the empire that had shaped him. As the legions pressed deeper into the forest, the terrain grew more treacherous. The air was thick with humidity and the buzzing of insects. The Romans, accustomed to open battlefields, found themselves hampered by the dense undergrowth. Their formation, so formidable in the open, began to lose its cohesion. Arminius, using his knowledge of the local tribes, sowed seeds of dissent among them. He spoke of Roman oppression, of their disregard for the sacred groves and the ancient ways. He painted a picture of a Germania free from Roman rule, where the tribes would once again be masters of their own destiny. His words fell on fertile ground. The Germanic tribes, though often at odds with each other, were united in their resentment of Roman encroachment. A storm was brewing, with Arminius at its heart. The legions entered the Teutoburg Forest, a place of dark legend and ancient trees. The forest was known for its treacherous terrain and the many myths that surrounded it. Roman soldiers, clad in their armor, marched cautiously, their senses heightened by the ominous atmosphere. It was a place where the sun struggled to penetrate the dense canopy, casting long, eerie shadows. The thick foliage above created a perpetual twilight, making it difficult to see far ahead. Every rustle of leaves and snap of a twig seemed amplified in the oppressive silence. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decay. The ground was soft and uneven, covered in a thick layer of decaying leaves and moss. The soldiers' boots sank slightly with each step, adding to their unease. It was here in this primeval forest that Arminius chose to spring his trap. Arminius, a chieftain of the Germanic tribes, had once served in the Roman army and knew their tactics well. He used this knowledge to devise a cunning plan. Under the pretense of quelling a local uprising, he had lured Varus and his legions deep into the heart of the forest. Varus, confident in his mission, was unaware of the deadly ambush that awaited him and his men. The attack came without warning. The Germanic warriors, hidden in the dense underbrush, launched their assault with ferocity. The Romans, taken by surprise, struggled to form a defensive line. A storm of javelins and axes rained down from the dense undergrowth, catching the Romans completely off guard. The projectiles found their marks with deadly accuracy, causing chaos and confusion among the ranks. The legions, strung out in a long column by the narrow forest paths, were easy targets. Their formation, ideal for open battlefields, was a liability in the confined space of the forest. Panic rippled through their ranks as the forest, once eerily silent, erupted in the terrifying war cries of the Germanic tribes. The Romans, disoriented and outnumbered, faced a relentless onslaught from all sides, sealing their fate in the dark heart of Teutoburg. The Roman legions, renowned for their discipline and training, found themselves outmaneuvered. The Germanic warriors, masters of their terrain, attacked in swift, deadly waves, melting back into the forest only to reappear elsewhere. The legions, hampered by their heavy armor and equipment, were ill-suited for this kind of warfare. The forest floor became a scene of unimaginable carnage. The air was thick with the stench of blood and the screams of the dying. The once proud legions were being systematically butchered, their formations shattered, their discipline crumbling. The element of surprise, the terrain, and the ferocity of the Germanic attack had turned the tide against them. The Roman war machine had met its match. Section 6, Varus falls, the eagle is dashed to the mud. Seeing the battle was lost, Varus, the once proud Roman general, chose to fall on his sword rather than be captured. His death, a final act of defiance, marked the complete and utter defeat of the Roman legions. The eagle standards, symbols of Roman might, lay broken and muddied, trophies for the victorious Germanic tribes. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was a disaster of unprecedented proportions for Rome. 3 entire legions, the backbone of Roman power, had been annihilated. The defeat sent shockwaves through the empire, shattering the aura of Roman invincibility. The Rhine, once envisioned as a stepping stone to further conquest, now became a defensive barrier, marking the limit of Roman ambition in this part of the world. Section 7. The aftershock Rome reels, Germania rejoices. News of the defeat reached Rome like a thunderbolt, throwing the city into turmoil. The Emperor Augustus, upon hearing of the disaster, was said to have wandered his palace, banging his head against the walls and crying out, "Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions!" The defeat had profound consequences for Roman policy. The dream of conquering Germania was abandoned, and the empire adopted a more cautious approach to expansion. The defeat marked a turning point in Roman history, a stark reminder that even the mightiest empires could bleed. In Germania, the victory at Teutoburg Forest resonated for centuries. It became a symbol of Germanic resistance to Roman rule, a rallying cry for those who sought to maintain their independence. Section 8, Arminius, from traitor to liberator. Arminius, the architect of the Roman defeat, became a legend among the Germanic tribes. His name, once synonymous with treachery in the eyes of Rome, became a symbol of liberation for his people. He had used his intimate knowledge of Roman tactics and psychology to outwit and defeat them. His victory ensured that Germania would remain free from Roman rule, preserving the unique cultures and traditions of its people. He is remembered as a brilliant military strategist and a cunning tactician, a man who dared to challenge the might of Rome and emerged victorious. Section 9. A Forest's Legacy, the Empire's Limits. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest stands as a testament to the human cost of conquest and the resilience of those who fight for their freedom. It serves as a reminder that even the most powerful empires can be humbled, and that the desire for freedom can inspire even the most unlikely of victories. The forest, once a silent witness to the clash of civilizations, stands as a memorial to the thousands who perished there. It is a place where the past whispers through the trees, a reminder of the enduring power of freedom and the limits of empire. The year is 9 AD. Deep within the impenetrable Teutoburg Forest, a storm is brewing, but this is no ordinary storm of rain and wind. This is a tempest of betrayal, a maelstrom of Roman blood about to be spilled. This is the story of the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, a conflict that would forever alter the course of Roman history. It is a tale of arrogance and miscalculation, of cunning and barbarity, a stark reminder that even the mightiest empires can crumble in the face of unforeseen adversity. The Roman Empire, under the reign of Emperor Augustus, stood at the zenith of its power. Its legions, seemingly invincible, had conquered vast swathes of land, from the sun-baked deserts of Africa to the rugged hills of Britannia. But in the untamed wilds of Germania, a dangerous game was afoot. The Germanic tribes, long considered barbarians by the Romans, were about to deliver a blow that would shake the very foundations of the Roman world. Julius Caesar, the legendary Roman general, had dreamt of conquering Germania and extending Rome's dominion to the Elbe River. He had tasted victory against the Germanic tribes in battle, but ultimately his ambitions in Germania remained unrealized. It fell to his successor, the shrewd and calculating Augustus, to complete what Caesar had started. Augustus, eager to secure the empire's northern frontier and expand its tax base, initiated a campaign of conquest and assimilation in Germania. Roman forts and settlements sprang up along the Rhine River, serving as outposts of civilization in the barbarian wilderness. The region west of the Rhine was formally annexed and christened Germania Inferior, a testament to Rome's growing influence. To govern this newly acquired territory, Augustus appointed Publius Quinctilius Varus, a seasoned general and close confidant. Varus, a stern and unyielding figure, was tasked with bringing law and order to the unruly Germanic tribes. He believed firmly in the superiority of Roman civilization and sought to impose Roman customs and governance on the conquered peoples. However, Varus's heavy-handed approach, characterized by excessive taxation and harsh punishments, sowed the seeds of resentment among the Germanic tribes. They chafed under Roman rule, yearning for their lost independence. What Varus failed to realize was that his every action was pushing the Germanic tribes closer to the brink of rebellion. Among the Germanic nobles serving in the Roman auxiliary forces was a young man named Arminius. A skilled warrior and a shrewd tactician, Arminius had spent his youth as a hostage in Rome, where he received a Roman military education. He knew the Roman way of war, its strengths, and most importantly, its weaknesses. Unbeknownst to Varus, Arminius harbored a deep hatred for Rome and a burning desire to liberate his people from Roman oppression. He saw the discontent brewing among the Germanic tribes and recognized a golden opportunity to strike a decisive blow against his Roman overlords. With cunning and guile, Arminius ingratiated himself with Varus, becoming a trusted advisor. He whispered tales of a brewing rebellion among the Germanic tribes further east, urging Varus to march his legions deeper into Germania to quell the uprising. Varus, blinded by arrogance and swayed by Arminius's treacherous counsel, took the bait. He assembled 3 Roman legions along with their families and a vast baggage train and marched eastward into the heart of Germania. Little did he know that he was walking his men into a carefully orchestrated trap. Carnage in the forest, the legions ambushed. As Varus's legions snaked their way through the dense undergrowth of the Teutoburg Forest, the Germanic warriors, led by Arminius, lay in wait. They had chosen the battlefield with care, a narrow defile where the dense trees and treacherous terrain would negate the Roman legion's superior numbers and discipline. The attack came suddenly and without warning. A hail of javelins rained down from the trees, followed by a ferocious onslaught from Germanic warriors wielding swords and axes. The Roman legions, caught off guard and hampered by their heavy equipment, struggled to form a cohesive defense. 3 eagles lost, the devastation of defeat. For 3 days and nights the battle raged. The Romans, outnumbered and outmaneuvered, fought with the courage born of desperation. But the outcome was never in doubt. The Germanic warriors, fighting for their freedom and fueled by a thirst for vengeance, overwhelmed the Roman legions. Varus, realizing the full extent of his folly and facing certain defeat, took his own life rather than be captured by the enemy. His legions were utterly destroyed, their eagle standards captured and displayed as trophies of war. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was a catastrophic defeat for Rome, a stain on its military prestige that would never be forgotten. A turning point. The legacy of Teutoburg. The news of the disaster sent shockwaves through the Roman Empire. Augustus, upon hearing of the defeat, was said to have cried out in despair, "Varus, give me back my legions." The defeat forced the Romans to reconsider their expansionist policies and abandon their ambitions of conquering Germania. The Rhine River became the permanent frontier between the Roman Empire and the Germanic tribes. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest marked a turning point in Roman history, signaling the limits of Roman expansion and highlighting the vulnerability of even the most powerful empires to determined resistance. Echoes in the forest. Remembering the fallen, the Battle of Teutoburg Forest continues to resonate through the ages. A stark reminder of the human cost of war and the enduring power of national identity. Today, the site of the battle is a place of remembrance, where visitors can pay their respects to the fallen and reflect on this pivotal moment in history. The echoes of clashing steel and the cries of battle may have faded, but the legend of Teutoburg Forest lives on, a testament to the enduring power of human courage both in victory and defeat. The year is 9 AD. Imagine the heart of a vast, ancient forest, dark, primeval, unknown. The air is thick with the scent of pine and damp earth, and the only sounds are the rustling of leaves and the distant calls of unseen creatures. This is a place untouched by the hands of time, where nature reigns supreme and the shadows hold secrets. This is the Teutoburg Forest, a place of legend and looming terror. Its dense canopy and tangled undergrowth create a labyrinthine world, where even the bravest souls can lose their way. It is here, in this foreboding wilderness, that one of the most devastating defeats in Roman history would unfold. Here, the mighty Roman Empire, master of the Western world, would meet its match. The legions, disciplined and battle-hardened, marched confidently into the forest, unaware of the fate that awaited them. They were the embodiment of Roman power and ambition, a force that had conquered vast territories and subdued countless peoples. This is the story of a battle, a massacre, a turning point in history. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was not just a military engagement, it was a cataclysm that would alter the course of the Roman Empire and the future of Europe. The aftermath was a scene of unimaginable horror, with the bodies of fallen soldiers strewn across the forest floor. It is a story of Roman ambition, Germanic cunning, and the brutal hand of fate. The Roman general Varus, confident in his strategy, was outmaneuvered by the Germanic chieftain Arminius, who had once been an ally of Rome. Arminius's intimate knowledge of Roman tactics and the terrain gave him a decisive advantage. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was no mere skirmish. It was a meticulously planned ambush, a masterstroke of guerrilla warfare. The Germanic tribes, united under Arminius, launched a relentless assault on the Roman legions, exploiting the narrow paths and dense foliage to devastating effect. It was a clash of civilizations, a testament to the enduring power of resistance against seemingly insurmountable odds. The Roman soldiers, trained for open-field battles, found themselves at a severe disadvantage in the confined, chaotic environment of the forest. Their discipline and training were no match for the ferocity and determination of the Germanic warriors. This was not a battle for territory, but for survival, for freedom, for the right to determine one's own destiny. The Germanic tribes fought with a desperation born of the desire to protect their homeland and their way of life. For them, this was a fight for their very existence. The echoes of this conflict would reverberate through the centuries, shaping the destiny of Europe itself. The defeat at Teutoburg Forest marked the end of Roman expansion into Germania and signaled a shift in the balance of power. The legacy of this battle is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring struggle for freedom. Publius Quinctilius Varus, Roman general and governor of Germania, stood on the precipice of disaster. His name, once synonymous with Roman authority and military prowess, would soon be etched into history for a catastrophic failure. A veteran of campaigns in Africa and the Middle East, Varus was confident, perhaps overly so. His victories in these distant lands had bolstered his belief in the invincibility of the Roman legions and the superiority of Roman strategy. He believed in the Roman way, in the legions' invincibility. The disciplined ranks of soldiers, the meticulously planned strategies, and the sheer might of Rome's military machine seemed unbeatable. He underestimated the cunning of his adversary, the young nobleman called Arminius. Arminius, a chieftain of the Cherusci tribe, had been raised in Rome and had served as an officer in the Roman army. Varus, blinded by ambition and a desire to bring the wilds of Germania under Roman control, made a fatal error. He believed that his experience and the might of his legions would be enough to subdue the Germanic tribes. He trusted Arminius, a Germanic prince raised in Rome, schooled in Roman military tactics. Varus saw Arminius as an ally, a bridge between the Roman Empire and the Germanic tribes. Arminius, however, harbored a secret. Beneath his Romanized exterior, he nurtured a deep-seated resentment towards Rome and a burning desire for freedom for his people. He yearned not for Rome's embrace, but for its downfall. Arminius saw the Roman occupation as a threat to the independence and traditions of the Germanic tribes. He saw an opportunity, a chance to unite the fractious Germanic tribes against their common enemy. Arminius began to weave a web of alliances, convincing the tribes that together they could challenge the might of Rome and reclaim their lands. Arminius, a cunning strategist and a master manipulator, played a dangerous game. He pledged loyalty to Rome while secretly plotting its demise. He carefully cultivated Varus's trust, all the while uniting the Germanic tribes under his banner. Under the pretense of quelling a local uprising, Arminius lured Varus and his legions deeper and deeper into the treacherous forest. The trap was set. The Romans, weighed down by their baggage train and oblivious to the impending danger, marched blindly into the abyss. The heavens themselves seemed to conspire against the Romans. Torrential rain turned the forest floor into a treacherous quagmire. The Roman columns, once models of discipline and order, began to dissolve into chaos. The legions, accustomed to open battlefields, were ill-equipped for the close-quarters fighting that awaited them. The rain hampered Roman movements, bogging down their heavy equipment and disrupting their formations. The once proud legions, their formations broken, were now vulnerable. Arminius, a keen observer of nature and a master of exploiting his enemies' weaknesses, chose his moment carefully. The time to strike was upon him. The ambush, a trap springs in the Teutoburg Forest. The forest erupted with a cacophony of war cries and the clash of weapons. The dense canopy of trees provided the perfect cover for the Germanic tribes who had meticulously planned this ambush for months. Thousands of Germanic warriors, hidden amongst the trees, unleashed a storm of javelins and axes upon the unsuspecting Romans. The Romans, marching in a long, vulnerable column, were caught completely off guard. The sudden onslaught was devastating. The first volley, a deadly hail of projectiles, caught the Romans completely off guard. Shields were raised in a desperate attempt to protect themselves, but the sheer volume of the attack was overwhelming. The air was thick with the sound of projectiles whistling through the air and the cries of the wounded. Panic spread through the Roman ranks. Soldiers, trained for open-field battles, found themselves in a chaotic and unfamiliar environment. The dense forest restricted their movements, making it difficult to form their usual defensive formations. The element of surprise, carefully orchestrated by Arminius, played a crucial role in breaking the Roman morale. Arminius, once a trusted ally of Rome, had turned against them, using his intimate knowledge of Roman tactics to devastating effect. The Romans, their formations shattered, fought back with the courage born of desperation. They tried to regroup and mount a counterattack, but the dense forest and relentless assault made it nearly impossible. Every step forward was met with fierce resistance, but they were surrounded, outnumbered and outmaneuvered. The Germanic warriors had the advantage of terrain and surprise, and they used it to full effect. The Romans found themselves trapped in a deadly vice with no clear path to escape. The Germanic warriors, fueled by years of resentment and a thirst for vengeance, fought with the fury of cornered wolves. Their attacks were relentless, driven by a deep-seated desire to reclaim their land and freedom from Roman occupation. The forest, once a symbol of Roman ambition, had become their tomb. The aftermath of the battle was a grim testament to the ferocity of the conflict. Fallen soldiers lay scattered among the trees, a stark reminder of the high cost of war. The legions broken, Roman might crumbles before Germanic fury. For 3 days and nights the battle raged. The Romans, their discipline crumbling under the relentless onslaught, fought with the courage of cornered animals. But it was a hopeless struggle. The legions, once the invincible force of the Roman world, were systematically annihilated. Varus, realizing the depth of his defeat, took his own life rather than fall into enemy hands. His death, a symbol of Roman hubris and the limits of imperial power, sent shockwaves through the Roman world. Echoes of defeat, trauma and the Roman psyche. The news of the defeat at Teutoburg Forest sent a shockwave through the Roman Empire. It was a blow to their pride, a stain on their military honor. The once seemingly invincible legions had been vanquished. The myth of Roman invincibility lay shattered. The defeat had a profound psychological impact on the Romans. It exposed the limits of their power, the vulnerability of their legions. The forest, once a symbol of Roman ambition, became a haunted place, a reminder of their mortality. Augustus's anguish. "Varus, give me back my legions!" The Emperor Augustus, upon hearing of the disaster, was overcome with grief and rage. "Varus, give me back my legions," he is said to have cried out, banging his head against the wall. The defeat was a personal blow to Augustus, a stark reminder of the fragility of Roman power. Rome, though shaken, was not broken. The defeat at Teutoburg Forest served as a wake-up call, a reminder of the importance of vigilance and the need for adaptation. The Romans would learn from their mistakes, adapting their tactics and strategies to the challenges posed by the Germanic tribes. Legacy of the Forest, a turning point in history. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was a turning point in Roman history. It marked the end of Roman expansion into Germania and shaped the future of Europe. The Rhine River would become the northern frontier of the Roman Empire, a lasting testament to the Germanic victory. The battle also had a profound impact on the Germanic people. It fostered a sense of unity and identity, paving the way for the emergence of a powerful Germanic presence in Europe. The echoes of Teutoburg Forest would continue to resonate throughout history, a reminder of the enduring power of resistance the importance of cultural identity, and the limits of empire. The Teutoburg Forest. Even the name evokes a sense of dread. In the year 9 AD, this dense primordial forest in what is now Germany became the site of a battle that would change the course of history. The Roman Empire, at the height of its power, suffered a defeat so crushing, so unexpected, that it sent shockwaves all the way to Rome itself. 3 entire legions, the pride of Rome's army, were utterly destroyed. Thousands of Roman soldiers, led by the experienced general Publius Quinctilius Varus, were slaughtered. Their killer? A cunning Germanic warrior named Arminius, who had once been a trusted ally of Rome. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was more than just a military defeat. It was a psychological blow from which the Roman psyche never fully recovered. It exposed the limits of Roman power and emboldened their enemies. The echoes of that battle still resonate today, a stark reminder that even the mightiest empires can fall. To understand the impact of Teutoburg Forest, we must first understand the ambitions of Rome. Under the rule of Emperor Augustus, Rome had embarked on a campaign of conquest, pushing its borders ever northward into the heart of Germania. The Roman legions, those disciplined and seemingly invincible warriors, had never tasted defeat in this new land. Arminius, a young nobleman of the Cherusci tribe, had been taken to Rome as a hostage as a child. There, he received a Roman education and military training, even rising to the rank of equestrian, a high honor for a non-citizen. But Arminius never forgot his roots. He saw the brutality of Roman rule, the subjugation of his people. Secretly, Arminius began to forge an alliance between the Germanic tribes, uniting them against their common enemy. He played the role of the loyal Roman officer, all the while plotting his revenge. The stage was set for a clash of civilizations, a battle that would determine the fate of nations. In the autumn of 9 AD, Varus, confident in his legions and unaware of Arminius's treachery, led his army through the Teutoburg Forest. It was a fatal mistake. The forest, with its dense undergrowth and narrow paths, was the perfect place for an ambush. Arminius, using his knowledge of Roman tactics and the terrain to his advantage, sprang his trap. The Germanic warriors, using hit-and-run tactics, harassed the Roman columns, picking off soldiers and sowing confusion. The legions, strung out along the narrow forest paths, were easy targets. The Roman advance turned into a desperate fight for survival. The legions, trained to fight in open formations, were ill-equipped for this kind of guerrilla warfare. The element of surprise, the cunning of their enemy, and the unforgiving terrain all conspired against them. For 3 days and nights the battle raged. The Roman legions fought with their usual tenacity, but they were hopelessly outmatched. Arminius, a brilliant strategist, had lured Varus into a death trap. One by one, the Roman standards, the symbols of their pride and power, fell. The legions 17, 18 and 19 were annihilated. Varus, facing certain defeat, took his own life rather than be captured. His head, sent to Rome as a gruesome trophy, served as a stark reminder of the defeat. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was a massacre. The Roman historian Tacitus wrote that the Germanic tribes slaughtered the legionaries without mercy, without sparing a single one, regardless of age or rank. The forest floor was littered with the bodies of Roman soldiers, a testament to the ferocity of the fighting and the scale of the Roman defeat. Section 5. The Empire Reeling. News of the disaster reached Rome like an earthquake. Augustus, upon hearing of the loss of 3 entire legions, was said to have wandered his palace, banging his head against the wall and crying out, "Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions!" The defeat sent shockwaves throughout the empire. It shattered the aura of Roman invincibility, proving that even the mighty legions could be defeated. The Rhine River, once seen as a launching point for further conquests, became a defensive barrier, marking the limit of Roman expansion into Germania. The psychological impact of Teutoburg Forest was profound. It instilled a deep fear of the Germanic tribes in the Roman psyche, a fear that would linger for centuries. The defeat also had significant political ramifications, forcing Augustus to consolidate his power and focus on securing Rome's existing borders. Section 6. The legacy of Varus. The name Varus became synonymous with defeat and humiliation. His legacy served as a cautionary tale for Roman generals, a reminder that even the most experienced commander could be undone by arrogance and underestimating the enemy. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest marked a turning point in Roman history. It forced the Romans to reconsider their expansionist policies and acknowledge the limits of their power. The empire would continue to flourish for centuries after Teutoburg, but it would never again attempt to conquer Germania. The battle also had a profound impact on the Germanic tribes, fostering a sense of unity and identity that would eventually contribute to the emergence of a distinct Germanic culture. Teutoburg Forest was a victory not just for Arminius and his warriors, but for an entire people. Section 7. The Rhine, a river of division. The Rhine River, once a symbol of Roman ambition, became a symbol of division. It marked the boundary between the Roman Empire and the Germanic tribes, a physical and cultural divide that would shape the political landscape of Europe for centuries. On the western bank of the Rhine, Roman law, language and culture prevailed. On the eastern bank, the Germanic tribes maintained their independence, their way of life largely untouched by Roman influence. The Rhine became a frontier, a place of both conflict and cultural exchange. The legacy of Teutoburg Forest is still felt today in the modern nations that emerged from the ashes of the Roman Empire. The battle serves as a reminder of the enduring power of nationalism, the importance of cultural identity, and the legacy of the past in shaping the present. Section 8. Barbarians at the Gate. In recent years, the Battle of Teutoburg Forest has captured the imagination of popular culture, most notably in the Netflix series. The series, while fictionalized, offers a glimpse into the brutality of the conflict and the complex motivations of the characters involved. Depicts Arminius not as a traitor to Rome, but as a freedom fighter, a man torn between two worlds who ultimately chooses his people over his Roman upbringing. The series has been praised for its historical accuracy, its gritty realism, and its exploration of the human cost of war. The popularity of is a testament to the enduring fascination with the Battle of Teutoburg Forest. The battle, with its themes of betrayal, courage, and the clash of civilizations, continues to resonate with audiences today. Section 9. Teutoburg Forest, an enduring echo. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was more than just a battle, it was a clash of civilizations, a turning point in history. It marked the limits of Roman expansion, the rise of Germanic identity, and the beginning of a new era in Europe. The echoes of that battle can still be felt today. The Teutoburg Forest stands as a silent monument to the past, a reminder that even the mightiest empires can fall and that the course of history can turn on a single event. The lessons of Teutoburg Forest, the dangers of hubris, the importance of understanding your enemy, and the enduring power of nationalism are as relevant today as they were 2,000 years ago.